Hello and welcome to Who Wins podcast, where each episode we pit pop culture icons against each other in a brutal fight to the death. This episode we are pitting Puppet against Puppet as Rod Hull and Emu take on Sooty, Sweep and Sue. Now, just before we get started, I did think about this one a little bit after we decided we were doing it. Are we unfair letting Rod Hull in and not whichever Corbett we're going to go with?
Well, as long as it's not a ladder match, we're fine. Let's get that straight out of the way.
I'll set them up. You knock them down. I can't believe I didn't see that coming. Yeah.
I think Grotbag's got him in the end.
Yeah. Because I've been thinking about it, like, Emu cannot function without Rod Hull, can he?
No. But then again, neither could the others with a hand up their arse, so.
I guess. I don't know. To me, it just always seems like this probably says more about me than anything else, but in my head, Sooty, Sweep and Sue almost kind of exist as their own kind of thing.
Well, it's because whoever they were interacting with wasn't the one controlling them. I
think you're right. Whereas with Rod Hull, he was like, Emu very rarely actually interacted with Rod Hull. And
try and bite him.
Yeah, and he very clearly had Rod Hull's hand up his arse.
Yeah.
Whereas with Sooty, Sweep and Sue, at least there was effort made to hide them under the desk, sort of Henson fashion.
Yeah.
So I think that's where that comes from. So, okay, so I guess we have to allow... I mean, there are three of them, so I guess just allowing Rod Hull in with Emu is... I mean, he's essentially going to be a one-armed man as well, isn't he? So...
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
let him in.
Emu's the other arm, so he's just so happens to be a giant, but then Emu's got size advantage anyway, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So, okay, glad we've got the rules of engagement out of the way. I dove straight into that and just trod all over the introduction. You know who we are if you.
Yeah, we're doing this long enough.
But for those that don't, I'm Chris. With me as always, Mark. I don't know why I just stormed straight over the introduction there. I'm slightly ill, probably quite tired, but I feel like I make that excuse every week. So fuck it. Anyway, we've got that out of the way. Let's get into it then. First and foremost, like, this seemed like a good idea at the time because we wanted to kind of go for a bit of a puppet theme, didn't we? Because we've just done Happy Time Murders on Mario, so we were like, oh, let's stick with the puppet theme. I feel like that's gone slightly out of sync though, so this just seems like we're doing a random Who Wins about puppets now. But
yeah, I mean, I think things kind of got moved around, didn't they? There was one we couldn't do. I can't remember what it was a couple of weeks ago, but things kind of got knocked off kilter a little bit, and so because of that, now we're just a little bit out.
That was a puppet show as well. Okay, yeah, so now it all makes sense. I don't know. That's just a peek behind the curtains that you don't need. But anyway, what I'm trying to say here is this matchup was very much us going, what puppets can fight what puppets? Because we've kind of done Sesame Street and we've done the Muppets. So it's like, well, what's left? And I can't believe that we haven't actually pitted Emu against anyone yet because he's an evil motherfucker. I don't know how this hasn't occurred to us until now.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it was one of those that I thought at some point, because this has been on the list for a while as well. We've had various puppets and incarnations on the list for a while. And I thought we'd get to a point eventually where we get so fed up of looking them on the list every week and go, no, we're not doing that, we're not doing that one. We just end up with a massive puppet smackdown. But yeah, we've kind of gone a different way with it instead. Mainly because I wanted lots of things to beat the living fuck out of Lamb Chop.
Jesus Christ, yeah, Lamb Chop's a creepy ass puppet.
I hated Lamb Chop.
That's maybe something for the future. I mean, maybe we can set a puppets tournament bracket up. You know, we had a definitive winner with Sesame Street and the Muppets, didn't we? I think we did. I mean,
that was our very first episode.
Our very first episode, yeah.
A long time ago.
Fraggle Rock doesn't really count because we put them against Smurfs and they're not puppets, so that doesn't count. But I don't know. Maybe in the future there's a puppet bracket. Let us know if that's something you'd like to sort of see or hear us do, listeners, and if so, suggest some puppets as well.
Absolutely, and I think everybody loves puppets, don't they?
I certainly do. Okay, so to get into it then, straight away, as we've said, Emu size advantage, massive size advantage.
Yeah.
He's a giant compared to Sooty, Sweep and Sue. They are literally just tiny little.
Quite ironic considering that there are two bears on the other side.
Oh yeah, because Sue's a panda, isn't she? There was just a moment of me then. If you're watching along on video, you probably caught my confused look then, listeners. I was like, two bears, but Sweep's a dog.
Yeah. Funny enough, I was talking to a cousin of mine the other day who I haven't spoken to in about 15 years. I ran into her in Tesco's, and she used to have a dog called Sweep. Look, fuck all like the dog in Sooty, but because she loved Sooty, she called it Sweep.
I think if you're of that age, well, I say of that age, like Sooty, Sweep and Sue are still on the fucking telly, aren't they? I think they're still going. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I think anything Corbett-esque is ITV, isn't it? I don't tend to watch ITV kid stuff nowadays. But if they are, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
I'm certain because there's a new, because his surname's not Corbett now either. I'm almost positive of this. There is a new Sooty show, and there's been like a cartoon and shit as well, isn't there?
Oh yeah, there was a cartoon, a couple of years ago. Well, good few years ago now.
But there is like a new Sooty show as well. I am convinced of it. Google is your friend, but I'm not going to do that right now. But I'm sure there is. So I was going to say, if you're of a specific age, I'm sure you knew somebody with a dog called Sweep. I certainly did as well. But I guess that's not relevant because Sooty, Sweep and Sue are still a thing. Sooty, Sweep and Sue is going to be difficult to say continually over the, and I'm not even drinking.
No, I'm not either. Actually, so I don't know what's going on this week.
What is wrong with you?
I'm working at the moment, so I'm busy. And I don't want to be drunk when I'm doing it.
This is work. We work every week. It doesn't stop you drinking.
No, this is true. But this is like 4 a.m. work where I'm getting up to do it before the kids get up, and I can't do that if I'm hungover. Apparently.
Fair enough.
Tried it once, didn't work. Not gonna do it again. As of next week, I'm fine.
Fair enough. Okay, so yeah, there are 2 bears and a dog versus this bird. Now, we say 2 bears though. Like Sooty is the tamest bear that's ever. Like he's tamer than fucking Rupert, isn't he?
I was going to say, if you put him in a triple threat with Paddington and Rupert, he'd still get used as a loincloth.
Yeah, I mean Sue's quite feisty.
Yeah, but she had to be because she was the only girl, and that's the characteristic of girls in this show is they were always really fucking really headstrong and feisty.
Yeah, I mean she's quite bossy, isn't she? And so
I didn't want to say.
Oh yeah, she's bossy. Is what she is. She's bossy panda. Are pandas bossy? Is that a personality trait we can attribute to pandas?
Or is that being incredibly racist against pandas?
Can you be racist against a panda? Isn't that speciesist?
Possibly.
Is that a word?
It is now.
I mean, pandas are both black and white.
Yeah, true.
At the same time. So I'm not going to touch this any further with any kind of barge pole. I
was just going to make a Roddy Piper joke and move on, but I won't do that.
Let's just get right down to it. Okay, so I think the prime thing here for me, Emu is giant and has a beak.
And is really fucking unpredictable and volatile.
I mean, he's a nasty motherfucker. He's quite possibly the nastiest motherfucker we've had on. And this is a show, mind you, where we've had Hitler. Yeah. Emu is fucking evil. Like, properly evil.
Well, that was the thing. I remember when we were kids, my brother used to, for whatever reason, to hate grot bags. So whenever grot bag...
I get it. She's scary. I did as well.
She always reminded me of my mother's sister.
Do you know, I think you're on to something in that I think all of us have got like an older relative. And she's like that aunt or like some fucking great grandmother or whatever it is and I'm sure we've all got one that we can picture right now that, you know, that has the big fucking hairy mole on her chin and always insists on coming up and give you like a really wet kiss on your cheek and then rubbing it off and leaving lipstick everywhere, and she smells mothballs. She's that. I mean, we all know her. Yeah. And so that's why she's scary.
But yeah, that was always my thing. I never equated her with being scary. I just equated her with being like my aunt. But my brother used to hide behind the sofa. Like, he literally used to run around the back of the sofa. And then we got a new sofa, which is a different shape, and went all the way up to the wall. He was fucked. But yes, I mean, I never got the fact that grotbags were scary. But so to me, she was she was meant to be I don't want to call her a villain or antagonist, but she was there to be the opposition, effectively. I know she was a threat to Emu, but Emu was always a massive bellend.
A complete and I'm sure there's a bit of a Peter Pan Captain Hook thing going on there, to be honest, because I mean Grotbags is a witch, so I guess, you know,
we like witches on this show.
Yeah, I mean we're well documented about our love of witches, so but I mean she's a witch, I know, so she traditionally would be an evil character, just like Hook was a pirate and traditionally would be an evil character. But then actually, like, when you look at Peter Pan, like, is Hook really the villain? Because Pan is an absolute arsewipe to him. And you can't blame him. And I think there is a certain amount of that with Grotbags and Emu as well. Like, Emu is such an asshole to everyone, not just to Grotbags, just to like Rod Hull included. And it's his own fucking hand, mind you. Like, it's the equivalent of punching yourself in the face for a living, I guess, being Rod Hull, isn't it?
Well, he got paid well for it. No,
I
well,
guess
that's hire
so.
a fucking aerial specialist, but still,
Jesus Christ, how many times?
I'd imagine.
Just how many times will we go to that well this evening, listeners? Quite reminds me to
Let's
know.
just try and work it out. An average show is about what, an hour?
Something like that.
Bring it 8 minutes in, possibly 9, and I've done it twice already. So do the math.
Strap yourselves in. He didn't. You got me at it now as well.
There you go.
Okay. Shit, you throw me off topic there as well.
It's far too easy.
Where was I? Right, yes. Emu, absolute prick. Whereas I think even with Sue's bossiness on the Sooty Sweep and Sue side of things, like she's not evil by any stretch.
She's not malicious, is she? And I mean,
she's just matronly, isn't she?
Yeah, she's kind of like the older sister.
Yes.
And I see it with my two at the moment, whereby you'll get that just ever so snarky voice which goes on, and the way she says a name, and you know that one of the others is in trouble because of the way she says their name, and it's just oh, for fuck's sake. And yeah, I mean, I haven't gone back to any of these because I haven't had time this week, but just hearing my two today and the way they bicker, and you're just thinking, yeah, that's got fucking Sooty and certainly Sweep and Sue all over it. I mean, Sooty kind of tended to be left out of it. It's always Sweep that wound her up, and she ended up shouting at, where Sooty just kind of got bossed around a little bit.
Again, though, that's because Sweep's the arsehole, isn't it? But in a different way. Like Emu is a vindictive arsehole. Sweep is just a knob. There's no way. He's just a knob.
Sweep's like a fucking hyperactive child. He's just overexcited all the time.
And
again, he's not one of those.
Yeah, he's a charmless. Yeah, he's a charmless Goofy. That's what Sweep is. He's like Goofy without the charm. He's just I think you're right. It's an overactive child. It's like he's the child that you sit in a corner and say, right, don't push the button, and so he immediately pushes all of the buttons as soon as your back is turned. Got away with it because he was a cute little dog. Simple as that. He was everybody's favourite. I don't think
he had that little beep, didn't he? And he had that little squeaker thing. He didn't speak.
Yeah, he was Beaker essentially like that, wasn't he? He was speaking.
That's one thing I never understood. Right, Sooty was mute and he had to whisper in Corbett's ear. Mm-hmm. Sue could speak normally, and Sweep had the squeaker. Fucking pick one.
Yeah, good point.
Making a show, pick one.
Good point. Why could Sue speak?
Yeah, I never understood that. I never understood why she could speak, and she could. No, she was verbal and she spoke English, which she was going to speak English because it was an English program. But why she was able to speak when the others had various forms of mutism or speech defects, and it was never addressed. It was just like, oh well, yeah, pandas can talk. Pretty fucking sure they can't.
That's pretty fucking weird. The more I think about it, that is really fucking weird. Like, why did Sooty have to whisper, but like Sweep could squeak? Why couldn't they all just squeak?
Yeah.
They're gonna have different variations on squeak.
Yeah, and I mean, think again. Like, you think of some of the gags they had, whereby Sooty was always whispering, and he was always whispering. So Matthew Corbett had to go down and have his ear whispered in, and then he would relay what he was saying to the others. You could have such a good game of Chinese whispers if one couldn't speak, or if they all couldn't speak and they were whispering each other's ears. By the time you get to the end, the one completely mishandles it, and the first one starts going fucking mental.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's a logistical reason for it. I guess because then if Sue can speak, I guess if Corbett wasn't in a scene, then at least Sue's able to narrate what's going on to the kids. Because occasionally I seem to remember like they had little Sooty-sized sets, and they would just because they lived in a house, didn't they?
Yeah.
And like they lived in their own house. I don't mean like obviously they lived in. Everybody lives in not everybody lives in a house. Some people are homeless, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but there was definitely a scale house within their house.
Yes, because I remember they had their own little bathroom and their own little kitchen and their own bedrooms. And
I don't remember the kitchen actually. I remember the bathroom. I remember the bedroom.
Yeah.
The beds were all little tiny little matchstick boxes, weren't they?
Yeah, and they'd put their pajamas on and go to bed. Like Sweep had stripy pajamas and stuff. I remember this quite fondly. I'm trying
to remember as well. Was there an element of Donald Duck to it as well, where he had Sweep had trousers to his, but then Sooty didn't?
I don't think any of them would have had trousers because you only see them from the waist up.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think because the pajamas you've had, it would have had like a nightshirt type thing. And
so he had
he had effectively a two-piece. You couldn't see it all.
You couldn't see the bottom. Yeah. That's
right. I always wondered if it was a case of the Donald Duck, whereby he was because he never wore clothes anyway.
No.
So why did he need pajamas?
None of them wore clothes. I think Sue wore a dress.
Sue wore a dress, yeah. So Sooty and Sweep never had clothes.
presumably to cover up her chesticles.
Well, yeah, but no.
I mean, she was quite flat. They didn't give her. I can't believe we're
Well,
gonna have
I
this
mean,
conversation. They didn't.
kind of-
Yeah. I know. I get what you said, but like, I legitimately, like, I'm not trying to make a joke here. Like, I'm legitimately talking about this. I can't believe I'm about to talk about puppet breasts. But the suggestion that she should be wearing a dress suggests I cannot speak tonight. Suggests that she's covering something up.
Yeah, there's something for her to hide to preserve her modesty. Fuck, you got me at it now. I can't speak either.
Yeah,
it's something
there isn't
that she needs to hide.
Yeah,
but
and I know the hand is flat, but if you're making the puppet, you could build those.
Yeah, you build it out, don't you?
Yeah, you just give her like two little tiny.
But then again, you're aiming at preschool kids and latterly at school age kids, who are also not developed in that way. So you want you want it to be identifiable. But in that case, don't wear a dress.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If you wanted to know that Sue's a girl, stick a bow in her hair.
I mean, it is the Donald Duck thing, isn't it? It's just like, why are you covering up what isn't there? Like, although, like, with Duck's anatomy, like, don't they? I think, I'm not entirely sure about this, but don't ducks' penises retract into their body anyway, and they kind of they Spider-Man them out, don't they? They like fly overhead and be like, and just shoot them out.
But they're kind of like corkscrews as well. They're not straight.
Yeah, they get stuck and stuff. But so like, there is legitimately a reason why perhaps Donald wouldn't have to cover up if he doesn't want to. Whereas, like, I don't know what a panda anatomy is like, but Sweep, certainly, if he hasn't been done, there's just going to be big old dog bollocks just swinging around as he's wandering around with no trousers on.
Yeah.
Unless he's been done. Maybe he's been done.
Maybe
Otherwise,
that's what this weekend's about.
Fuck yes, of course. Otherwise, he would have tried to get on Sue at some point, wouldn't he? Because dogs will fuck anything, especially stuffed things. Dogs love stuffed toys. So poor old Sue, no chance.
Sue, Sooty, the wardrobe, whatever, really.
Yeah, we never got to see Sweep's little red lipstick, which I'm thankful for.
Now, anybody listening and watching, I bet you didn't see that one coming, did you?
Well, nobody saw it coming. That's the point. We never saw Sweep coming. You set him up, I'll knock him down. Right.
Anyway,
let's get this back into some semblance of order. This is fucking mental already. This show every week now, like the other shows, I feel like at least we keep them sort of vaguely on topic, but the last
listeners would disagree with that.
Well, some have, but this show especially, just of late, just seems to go way off the fucking rails. Like, we just have a jumping off point on this show.
Yeah, sorry everyone. Actually, no, I'm not. It's more entertaining this way. It's more entertaining for us anyway.
I don't know. I guess the listeners need to decide that. So, okay, so the 3 tiny little puppets in various states of undress. Emu has no clothes on whatsoever. I don't know why this is relevant, but I feel like we're on this train of thought now, so we may as well follow it through. I think part of the okay, are we going to treat these as puppets, or are we treating these as like real actual entities?
I think if we treat them as entities, especially because they both had cartoon iterations where they didn't have hands up their arse.
Yeah, because, okay, so the reason I'm asking is because if Emu is like an actual, if we're treating him like an entity, then obviously he has more than his beak, because he has like big fucking long powerful legs and stuff as well, which he would never use because they were just dangled over Rod Hull's fucking arms.
Yes.
But, you know, all we ever saw was the big neck and the big beak, and it'd be the same with Sooty, Sweep and Sue, where
but there was a cartoon iteration, wasn't there, as well?
Of Emu, was there? Oh, and the
Pink Windmill.
Yeah. Well, the Pink Windmill was the show anyway, wasn't it? But there was an animated intro, and remember that.
I'm sure they did, because they spun grot bags off as well. I'm sure they did a spin-off with them as cartoons. There
was definitely an animated intro, and now we're talking about it, I can visualize kind of the animated form of Rod Hull.
Pink suit.
Yes. Yeah. Well, he wore a pink suit in the Pink Windmill anyway, didn't he? With a top hat and stuff as well. But I can kind of picture his cartoon now as well.
Yeah.
I don't remember too much about the Sooty cartoon, but okay, let's take him as entities then. So Emu, giant fucking bird. Now, Sooty, Sweep and Sue, I've never seen the cartoon, but I'm guessing they're still going to be size appropriate. So they're still tiny little animals.
They are. I mean, they're going to be what, 10 inches at most if you give them legs.
I guess so. What's the average span of a hand?
I don't know. That big.
I mean, yeah. What's that? Your hands are bigger than mine, aren't they? So,
So call it 10 inches, just
By
because
the
it's
time
a nice round number.
time you put a head on and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
10 inches with the head. Um,
wasn't going near that one. I was going to let you do that one. Yeah, I mean, even when they did convert to cartoon form, Emu wasn't like a full size emu.
yeah, because a full size emu is a fucking is a
They're like
massive
3
bird.
meters tall.
Yeah, they're huge. They're like giants.
Yeah, so I mean, I think he was probably about 6 foot.
So they're both minuscule versions of what they actually should be.
Yeah.
So now this is kind of going to become who would win in a fight between an emu and a bear, isn't it?
Yes and no, because it's a little bear.
It's a very little bear with I mean, Sooty could be mischievous as well, but he didn't have a violent temperament, did he?
He did have a magic wand though.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, there's Izzy Wizzy, let's get busy, isn't
But he
there?
couldn't
There's
say
all
it,
of
could he?
that.
He couldn't say Izzy
No,
Wizzy.
but Sue does.
But does Sue have enough magic to use the wand?
Well, no, Sooty uses the wand, but Sue says the magic words, doesn't she? So it's you kind of need all of that, and Sweep would just squeak along.
Yeah, and to be honest, if you wanted him to be a bit more useful, you'd have him run interference and be a distraction.
Oh, he absolutely is. I mean, this is how I see this going for the three of them. Like, Emu clearly has the size and the reach advantage. I mean, even Rod Hull can just stamp on him or fall on him, as he might be apt to do. But
that's 4, is it?
We need to stop before we get another fucking complaint. Like some Rod Hull superfan is just behind their keyboard right now, just tapping. Hello, Rod Hull superfan, wherever you are.
Yeah,
you're the one.
Yeah, apologies. We don't mean to offend. It just happens when we open our mouths. Yeah, it's all said tongues firmly in cheek. No, we are big fans of.
This is the least offensive thing people have ever said about Rod Hull, I guarantee. I mean, Jesus Christ, seriously.
Yeah, that's true.
Like we're being a lot nicer than most people are. So and yeah, I genuinely like Rod Hull, Emu, and the Pink Windmill and Grop Eyes was a huge part of my childhood. I absolutely loved them. Sooty, Sweep and Sue as well, to be fair. I was a big fan of the Sooty show as well. I love puppets in general. We all know this. So yeah, I think you saying about Sweeper and Interference, the way for all three of them is that they have to work together because they have a much bigger threat to take down with Rod Hull and Emu. So it's going to be, and I kind of do see it going as well. Of like even though I feel like they're sort of, perhaps it's because they're smaller, but they seem like they're the youngest and the least experienced. Whereas like Emu's thick as fuck and angry as fuck, but he's got Rod Hull with him, who's so. Even with all that, I still kind of feel like they've also got the cerebral advantage.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of thinking this, like, the whole thing with the magic wand is that they were always producing handkerchiefs, handkerchief strings and stuff like that. Just treat Emu like a fucking at.
Yeah, just tie.
Just give Sweep the end and tell him to run.
Well, I mean, it's not. You've got to take Rod Hull down, haven't you? Not Emu.
Well, yeah, But if you're taking them as entities as they were in the cartoons, then he didn't have Rod Hull up his ass.
Okay, so are we not having Rod Hull with Emu? Or
I think if we're taking them as entities rather than puppets, then yeah, we'll drop him.
What? I'm not. All right,
God.
Enough.
Right, if we take Rod Hull out of the equation, we can't insult him anymore.
Well, he's taking himself out, hasn't he? Let's just just put a ladder.
At least he's not going to land on Emu.
Yeah, let's just put a ladder. A ladder somewhere in the vicinity, and he can sort himself out. He can go mad.
So if we take him out, just because if we're taking them as separate entities, rather than being puppets, then we don't need him.
No, I mean they are puppets. I still will accept them as being puppets, but we just don't have to go through the charade. There is a person attached to the puppet. We don't need a puppeteer. We just need the puppets. Yeah. So in that case, then yes, they've got to go for the legs. They've got to bring him down, haven't they?
Yeah.
They have magic. So yes, they constantly produce handkerchiefs, flowers, stuff like that. But I mean, what is the limit of their magic is the question. We never really see them do anything.
Well, it's not proper magic, is it? It's Paul Daniels magic. Yeah. So you pull that Paul Daniels street magic stuff where you do pull handkerchiefs at the end of the wand, or pull them out your sleeve and stuff, and you just keep on going. It's that sort of stuff, which is absolutely perfect for what they need to do here, which is just bring him down.
I guess, yeah. But I mean, Emu does obviously, he has experience with magic users because grot bags.
Yeah.
So, but then her magic is different because that's more cauldrons and potions and.
Yeah.
Whereas this is literally point the magic wand. Sue says, "Izzy wizzy, let's get busy," and like Sooty shoots out a bunch of handkerchiefs from the end of his wand, and they tie Emu up with them. So
not a euphemism.
No, I was being very careful to avoid one because we're being children tonight. So I was being very careful not to spit a euphemism out at that point. But even when they've done that, then like, okay, so you need Sweep to distract Emu if that's the case. So he just needs to run around
they're both
squeaking
kind of
his face off.
Yeah, they're both kind of like kids with ADD anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, sort of.
Emu and Sweep are just going to be running around after each other anyway. They're not really going to be focused on the fact there's a fight on. It's just like, fucking look at him, have him.
I mean, you can almost see Sweep just trying to climb on Emu's back, to be honest, and ride him, and just because, just why not? Because
why
that's
wouldn't
the
you?
stupid fucking thing that Sweep would do.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. So he'd be perfect for distracting him. In the meantime, that only leaves Sooty and Sue to wrap up Emu's legs. Now they're very small and they have very small hands, so these are going to be quite small handkerchiefs.
But they could always pinch without they could always hold stuff like handkerchiefs because they're flat and they're not heavy and they don't need any sort of strength to hold it. It was just as long as you hold your finger, as long as the puppeteer could hold his fingers together, then the puppet could hold stuff like that. Same as Sooty with a wand. So if you had a wand that the handkerchiefs came out of, all you need is Sue to grab one and can run with it.
Oh, okay. So Sooty holds onto the wand.
Yeah.
Sue kind of runs around with a. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, okay, so that would work.
Even if they don't wrap, even if they just put out like a tripwire. He's coming down.
He's going to come down. Okay, so he brings it down to their level. He's still got the beak though, isn't he? And then
he does still have the beak, but if he's on the ground, there's only so much he can do because he needs his shoulders to move his neck, which he would need to be able to get the beak to peck.
True, yeah, true, but he could still move it that way.
Yeah, you could still swing it, I suppose. You could still use it as like a sweeper. Take him out.
Yeah.
Not like the dust we turned into when Rod Hull died.
Like a big wrecking ball, basically. Yeah, just swing his head around and smash it. I mean, the other thing he can obviously do is if he's got enough dexterity to bring his feet up towards his beak, he could like snap through the handkerchiefs, couldn't he?
Yeah.
So I don't think he's going to stay down for long. So they need to capitalize very quickly if they're going to do it. I mean, I guess while he's down, the ideal is to just conjure more fucking handkerchiefs and
tie him down.
Well, choke him, I was going to say, but
yeah, as I said, I thought they haven't got opposable thumbs. They're not going to tie shit.
Yeah, I mean,
well, they are opposable. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, one, I don't think they could tie him down, and two, he's only got his legs and his neck, so there's not much more to tie down. He hasn't got arms; he's just got fucking wings, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got wings. Again, he can use those as weapons if he can move his shoulders.
Yeah, but how do you tie the wings down?
Well, you kind of.
Oh, I guess you wrap them around his body and then tie.
So you wrap them around so he can't spread them out.
Yeah,
either that, you get really fucking dark and spread them out and stake them.
I mean, I don't think he can fly anyway, can he? Can emus fly? I don't think they can they? No. They're land birds. They just lay massive fucking eggs, don't they? That's all I know about emus. Gigantic fucking eggs.
Tesco's, they're bastards.
Emu eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, yeah. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah. So if he were to that's a weapon as well because he can lay these gigantic fucking eggs and just pelt them at him. Like one of those eggs is probably bigger than Sooty, Sweep, or Sue.
It is, but if they've come out of Emu, is Emu going to want to throw them, or is Emu going to become also the maternal and shit?
He hasn't got a fucking maternal bone in it. Well, is Emu a boy or a girl?
I don't know. I always assume boy because he's blue.
I always assume boy as well, but the more I think about it now, the more I think I've heard Emu referred to as she.
I don't know. I can't remember. As I said, I've done shit all research this week, so.
Oh, I mean, we never fucking research this show anyway. This is all about...
I say research. I mean, I haven't even looked online. I haven't looked for anything online. I haven't watched anything. I've just gone, fuck, I'm busy. It's a fight between puppets. I'm fine.
That's fine. I mean, this isn't SMPD. If it was SMPD, then we'd need to research this shit. Maybe we should have done Pink Windmill first before we did Sooty, Sweep and Sue versus Emu.
Again, I think you're overselling how much research we do for SMPD.
Well, enough to know whether Emu's a fucking boy or a girl, surely.
I don't know. I don't know whether it's ever been written.
I bet you somebody fucking knows. Right. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves, listeners.
I don't think it's ever come up.
Is emu a boy? I'd be shocked if this actually brings up
I was going to say, fuck knows what you're getting out of Google for typing that.
or a girl. This is where Google spits all sorts of random shit. Yeah, as I guess, this is just giving me. Well, no, it's just giving me facts about emus now. Emu females are generally larger than males. They weigh about 40 kilos. They can run at speeds of up to 50 kilometers an hour.
Ah, okay. Doesn't answer the question, but okay.
No. What about if I add Rod Hull into it? Does that?
Maybe that'll do the trick. Excuse me.
Yeah. No. Now I'm just fine. Right. Rodney Stephen Hull was an English comedian and popular entertainer on British television, 1970s and 1980s. He rarely appeared without emu, a mute, highly aggressive, arm-length puppet modelled on the Australian flightless emu bird. But it doesn't say whether emu was a fucking boy or a girl.
Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna. I've got to be honest.
Right, inquiring minds want to know. If anybody knows out there, let us know. Anyway. Okay, let's take the egg out of it then. He can't lay an egg. He, she, it, emu can't lay an egg. So he's down on the ground. He's got to get himself up. If he doesn't get himself up, he's fucked because, I mean, at this point, they can just shoo him, can't they? Like, you just let sweep loose, don't you, at this point?
Well, I was going to say, they won't be able to shoo him because they haven't got legs. But they could pound him a little bit with little finger arms.
Oh my God, what an image. You just see him running up now and just, wah, like little touch of death. Just, wah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing you've got to wonder with that, if they've tied him down, all right. I mean, thinking back to like Gulliver's Travels and shit like that, where where Gulliver is tied down with the Lilliputians, and he sits up and all, he just pulls all the fucking ropes out and all the rest of it because they're
they're tiny. Yeah.
Is Emu going to have enough strength in their legs to be able to do that?
Right, let's make a decision now, so we don't.
Let's go with he, because we refer to emu as he all the way through.
Yeah, we're not going to have a non-gender specific emu here, just because. I mean, look,
that's fine. Know.
That's fine if emu does decide that he wants to, become a different gender. That's totally cool. If he wants to transition, then it's absolutely fine. But for the purposes of this podcast, we can't keep saying he, she, it. So he's a he.
Yeah, let's go with he because we've gone with he all the way through.
/him.
Yeah. So does he have enough strength in his legs and in his neck to be able to force his way back onto his feet?
Now, I don't think there's any strength in those fucking legs, although a proper emu can run 50 kilometers an hour.
A proper emu wouldn't have an issue.
These legs are always kind of just dangling over Rod, so they look like quite limp. However, and this is even taking them as entities, we still have to go with what we know about them, especially if we're saying the bears haven't got opposable digits, they've just got tiny little...
Bears don't anyway.
Yeah, but we're making jokes about them having little tiny. So, we've got to go with what we've got, even if they're entities. Like the puppet is still a thing. There's just no puppeteer. So emu's legs are frankly useless. Whereas the beak is essentially Rod Hull's fucking arm and fist.
Yeah.
So I think there's enough strength on that to if you dig it in the ground and do a push up. Yeah, I think he can get himself back up, but he's got to get rid of those handkerchiefs before the trio do anything else.
Yeah. But again, I mean, if you think of the design of emu and as emus are anatomically anyway, the neck is really fucking long. So as long as if they tie him down by the neck, if he were to go prone and just slide it out,
yeah, I think he could.
Because they're only handkerchiefs. It's not like it's not like there's no steel ropes or anything.
Yeah,
they're tied handkerchiefs.
And that neck is long and thin, isn't it? So I think he probably could do that. So yeah, I think he can get out of this. It's whether he's got enough time to do it. If the bears need to capitalize immediately as soon as he goes down, I don't know what their capitalizing looks like though.
I don't either. I mean,
they need a fucking knife or something, don't they?
They need some sort of knife or a blunt object or something to bludgeon him with. I'm thinking a bit of Punch and Judy type, the fucking rolling pin type effort.
I mean, I wouldn't put that past Sue.
I wouldn't put past Sweep either.
No, I won't put anything past Sweep. He's a little fucking psycho.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it past either of them to be there doing the old Punch and Judy and just whacking away. But I think that the emu has this sort of manic, frenetic energy whereby he's just going to be whipping his neck back and forth, trying to stay out their way. And even if it's not deliberate, he's going to pull his head out from underneath those handkerchiefs.
I think part of the problem they got is to get in close enough Like they've got to go for the body. I don't think they can go anywhere near that head because if they get within range of that beak, he's just gonna rip them to shreds.
Yeah,
like even tied down, he's a fucking psychopath.
Yes,
Like he is just gonna rip them to pieces.
The only way to do it would be if you could get behind him and get Sweep on his back. You could climb up the neck and get him from behind and get him in the back of the head.
Like or like Monster Hunter, just run up the back and just stab him in the neck. Yeah.
Yeah, because the ostrich brain is notoriously small anyway, it's smaller than the eye. So, I mean, they can do that quite easily if they can get behind him and prevent him from getting up. The problem is he's a lot quicker than they are.
Is he though? Well, I mean, we know emus can run 50 kilometers an hour,
but do you think the way his head moves, like obviously, I know it's Matthew Corbett, it's Rod Hull's arm, but if you think of the way that head whips back and forth, it's very quick. Whereas Sooty and Sweep and Sue move like this.
They do, but they turn very quickly. They do very exaggerated, like they do. They snap. They can.
Yeah, because they're talking to three, and it's normally the one in the middle who's the crux of the conversation. So they're always like that.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. In terms of their arms and stuff like that, and it's always a very deliberate bringing together of the hands because they have to pinch things.
It's a good job we're on video this week. Otherwise, you couldn't see us doing this all the time.
I mean, I think most people probably listen anyway. So for the purposes of listeners, we are just pretending to be puppeteers with
we basically are playing Sooty, but without the puppet. We just got our hands.
You look like a Vulcan doing that.
That's that.
I don't fucking know. Well,
I can't do it with the other hand. I can't get my fingers to move the same way.
Anyway, right.
Yeah, way off point.
First things first. Then, if they're going to do that, if Sweep's going to mount him, they need a knife. Like, is there any reason Sooty can't conjure a knife? I mean, it's like we say, it's magician's tricks, so it's not like he could just suddenly make a knife appear out. Like,
he's not Harry Potter summoning one from the kitchen, is he?
No, he kind of needs a knife to begin with. But as a magician, like knives are something you would have in your arsenal, wouldn't you? For like knife throwing and cutting people up and shit like that. So I think we can allow Sooty a knife. Yeah, I think we can allow that. He's just got to produce his knife. Why has it got to be Sweep that runs up Emu's back? Is it just because it's funnier?
Yes and no. He's the one who's stupid enough to try it.
There's that, and I have the image of
him riding a bucking emu.
Yeah, well, and with this knife that's nearly as big as him, just holding it, just going as he's running up, just squeaking all the way. Because every step he'd squeak, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
it would be fucking hilarious. Okay.
Yeah, I vaguely remember them doing that when they were sneaking out of bed to go to the kitchen to find biscuits or something in the middle of the night. They would do that, and Sooty would sneak across, and Sue would be very quiet, and Sue would meep, 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 every time he stepped anywhere.
Both of us, by the way, just did the worst impersonations. Like neither of us sounded anything like Sweep.
No, I don't have a squeaker in my throat. I do apologize.
This is the thing. You can't do an impression. You need an actual squeaker because he sounds like a fucking dog toy.
Yeah, and mine's in the other room, so I can't do that.
It's impossible to do an impression of Sweep, I think, without a squeaker. Yeah. But yeah, you can see him sort of squeaking all the way at the back. The problem is that is going to attract the emu's attention, isn't it? Of
course it is.
Because he's going to be squeaky, so emu's going to whip his head around, and probably at that point, that's Sweep down. If emu gets his head around and Sweep's trying to mount him, that's him fucking gone. So I think that's a casualty for the other side. I think that's death by emu straight away. Like, you just rip him to pieces. He got too close.
Yeah.
So,
but I don't see how you beat emu without getting close.
Oh no, I'm sure they do have to get close. But what I'm saying is Sweep is noisy. He just is. Which is like he can't do stealth.
No,
it's impossible. But I think you're dead right. He's definitely the one that does it because he's going to see the knife and be like, "Oh, shiny!" And he's going to see. He's just going to run up and attempt to stab him, and he's just going to get fucking torn in half.
Yeah,
he's just going to grab him, rag him around, and Sweep's gone. Unfortunately, like little bits of fluff and squeaker everywhere.
Yeah, I mean the only upside for Sooty and Sue being left is that he's now going to be playing with the squeaky toy.
Well, he's going to be ragging him for a bit so they can capitalize on that. Again, though, how do they do it? I mean, that knife is still kicking around now, so somebody can go and grab that. But
because I mean,
they've got to get to it because it's not like Sooty can summon it. He's not that good with magic.
No, I mean the question would be, well, where is it? Is it in Emu's line of sight? Because again, he would also be shiny.
And Emu would pick a knife up in his mouth as well, at which
Yeah.
point he's a fucking murderous, psychopathic
Well,
bird.
yeah, because at that point, that
with a
head
knife.
whipping around with a knife in it, shit's going
Jesus.
flying.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess it would stand to reason. If Sweep's holding the knife, Emu's ripped Sweep apart. Yeah, Emu can definitely hold the knife, which means he can cut his feet free. So
Yeah.
he's back on his feet. Now he's got a fucking
The
stabber.
only problem I see with that is I don't think he's intelligent enough to cut himself free.
Yeah, you're probably right. He is quite
as we mentioned earlier on, he is thick as fuck.
Yeah, so he's gonna okay, so maybe he's gonna get himself up and keep falling over. But
yeah, until he works out that he needs to unwrap his feet.
Yeah, but he's
rather
still
than realizing he's got some implement he can cut them with.
Still got a stabber in his mouth,
yeah.
and he's gonna be pretty fucking angry with the pair of them at this point.
Yeah.
Now this is where if he's charging towards him, you can almost see Sue just trying to stand her ground and tell him off.
Yeah.
That's not going to end well for anybody.
No.
Do you know what? I don't think she'd move. I don't think it's in her character to move.
No,
I think she would
she's standing up to a bully.
She'd be like, right, that's it. I've had enough. That was my friend. Like,
yeah, you would be very naughty. Go to bed.
Yeah. At which point
she gets a knife through the head.
Definitely. And we're left with Sooty and Emu. Magic wand against knife.
But again, it's not a magic wand. It's a trick wand, isn't it? It doesn't do actual magic.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't. But it's something he can hit Emu with.
Yeah, but I mean, again, he's got to get close for that, and because of his size.
Oh no, I was meaning he could just fucking pelt it at him.
But again, because of his size, I don't think he'd do anything other than bounce off. At which point he's now weaponless.
Yeah, it would annoy him, wouldn't it? It's essentially like throwing a small pebble at this point. He's just going to throw.
It's like throwing a grain of rice at a velociraptor.
Good analogy. I like that.
I may have been watching Jurassic Park there.
I mean, Emu basically, that's a really good description of Emu. He basically is a fucking velociraptor puppet, isn't he? That's what he is.
He's fast, he's vicious. Maybe not as smart as a velociraptor, though.
Well, I mean, are velociraptors actually that smart? Or is
they were in the film.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that just...
I've never met one in real life, so I don't know.
Bullshit. I don't know. I don't know enough about dinosaurs, is the answer. Other than I know they came from birds, which is why Emu looks a lot like a velociraptor.
Birds came from them, you mean?
That's what I mean. Yes. You knew what I fucking meant.
Of course I did.
I don't claim to be a fucking dinosaur guy.
Which is a technical term, by the way.
Yeah, that's what you call a paleontologist, isn't it? No?
Yeah.
Yes. There you go. I don't claim to be a paleontologist. I don't claim to be in anything. To be honest.
But yeah, I mean, it's one that I don't see Sooty being able to do anything that's going to give him any sort of advantage at this point, unless he maybe has a coin that he can he can shine light off and distract him.
Well, this is the key, isn't it? Of everything he's got left in his arsenal now, distraction has got to be the tactic, which it kind of was to begin with, but Sweep's too fucking noisy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've definitely seen Sooty do shit with coins. I've definitely seen him do coin tricks.
Yeah.
So he absolutely could, like, give it the old, what's that behind your ear, Emu?
I was just thinking,
it's a shiny coin.
His face. I was hold up in his face to see it, and then disappears and then comes back out from his ear. It's going to blow his little Emu brain.
It is, isn't it? He's going to David Blaine that shit, and he's just going to be like, "What is this tiny? What is this tiny little orange bear doing?" But again, he's got to capitalize, and I don't know what he can do unless he can get hold of that knife and plunge it straight into his little fucking emu heart, which. I don't know. I mean, I guess at that point you've got to entertain Emu so much that he drops the knife in awe.
Yeah, and I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think just producing a shiny coin's going to do that, is it?
No. I mean, if anything, even if he were so astounded that he were to drop the knife, when the coin doesn't rematerialize from behind his ear, he's going to go batshit crazy and start pecking everything, looking for it.
He is. Yeah. I mean. Maybe there's something in that as well. If he's going around looking for the fucking coin, he's not attacking Sooty, is he?
But even then, like, I don't see Sooty being able to capitalize.
It's too small. He doesn't have posable digits.
No, or legs.
He does have legs for the purposes of this, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, he doesn't. His thing would be to distract and run away. He wouldn't get into a fight.
Emu's going to murder him. Let's stop talking around the issue. Emu's going to murder him. This was cut and dry from the very start. If the magic wasn't going to work, Emu's just going to murder him, innit?
Yeah, and I think, I mean, we do try and talk our way through these as much as we can, but every now and again we get one, we go, we didn't really think this through, did we? This is kind of one-sided.
Well, no, I don't see. This is the thing. I don't think it was necessarily one-sided. I think there was a moment there where they could have taken it by getting his legs out from under him and stuff, but it would rely on them capitalizing on that. And I think the way we played that was right. I think it would absolutely be Sweep that would go up with a knife, and I think you lose the element of surprise the second you get Sweep involved because he's a noisy little fucking ADD asshole. So he's fucked, did he? He's fucked.
Unfortunately, at that point, they're all fucked because he's the only one. He's the only one who's a big enough psycho to try it. Sue's not going to try and climb on his back and stab him in the head.
No, I say Sue's going to tell him off. Sue is going to want to mother him and tell him off for being such an arsehole.
Sooty would be the ideal one to try and sneak up on him because he doesn't make any noise.
But that would require patience on Sweep's front.
Yeah,
and he has none. Although, we didn't explore this possibility. Sweep has the ability to turn into Super Sweep.
Oh yeah.
I forget. I don't think that was his actual name, but he definitely could turn into a superhero.
But that was just him wearing a cape, wasn't it? I don't think he actually had any abilities.
I don't know. I don't think it made him quiet. No. I think he was just pretending that he was Superman. Yeah. So yeah, okay. No, that doesn't help at all. I was just thinking if he turned into Super Sweep, then maybe, I don't know, he has fucking laser eyes or something, or super strength.
Yeah. I don't think they ever explored that one properly.
They probably did, and we just don't know. That, but we've got to work with what we've got, and
exactly.
What we've got is that he's a noisy psycho.
As opposed to the other psycho.
Well, yeah, Emu's not a noisy psycho, is he? Emu didn't make any noise, really, did he? He just did that.
Yeah,
you can't see my hand on the camera. He just opened his mouth up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Emu's going to take it. I don't see any way he doesn't. He's got the size. He's vicious. The only thing he's lacking is intellect,
but sometimes that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, I think he's so vicious. He's almost primal, isn't he?
Yeah.
You didn't compare him to a velociraptor by accident, did you? You know. Well, no, maybe you did, but as soon as you said it, I was like, yes, that is the perfect analogy because he is. He's primal. He's a force.
That's it. And I think that, however we tried to play this, I mean, and you look at trying to pit intellect against it, and yes, intellect will get you so far, but you need, in a battle, yes, you need intellect, but you also need physical ability. You also need some sort of combat ability that isn't just send them over there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they haven't got even.
They got lots of generals and not enough cannon fodder.
Yes, exactly.
Soldiers.
Even with the intellectual advantage, they don't have the ability to capitalize on it strategically. I don't think because Sue's going to try and be too bossy. Sweep's not going to listen to a fucking word she says, and Sooty's just going to be in the middle, just waving his wand around.
Again, not a euphemism.
Not a euphemism, no.
Which is unusual for us, actually.
Well, look, this wasn't a show for euphemisms. This was a show for making fun of Rod Hull. So,
yeah, I think you're right. I think it in the fight of Sooty and friends against Emu's going to absolutely fucking paste them.
Don't puss out. I've had to say Sooty, Sweep, and Sue a million fucking times throughout the course of this podcast.
But there was a secondary show called Sooty and Friends where they introduced another fucking bear later on, I believe.
Did they?
A little grey one. It was a little grey Sooty who wore a blazer.
The fuck?
Yeah, this was like 89, 90, I think.
The fuck?
Yeah.
I was too old for Sooty by that point. What the fuck? Like, why was he another bear?
I'm sure it was called Sooty and Friends. I think it was still Matthew Corbett. But yeah, I think he was like Sooty's cousin or something like that. It was the old Walton's way of bringing in a new character.
Right, hang on. Sooty's cousin. Scampy.
That's him. Little grey thing.
Like the fries. He literally just looks like somebody put Sooty on too high a fucking wash. Like, he's he's smaller and the colour's duller. Like,
Did he have a blazer or a hat or something?
he had a blazer and he's got a hat which he's wearing at a jaunty angle over
That's
one
it.
ear.
Yeah.
He kind of looks a little bit ghetto, or at least I think the intention is that he's a bit
that was the intention. Yeah.
What
Yeah, I knew I hadn't imagined that.
the fuck is that?
He was equally useless.
He kind of looks like he belongs in AC/DC because he's got a fucking school blazer on and this tiny little hat. Just... Well, I've learned something tonight. I didn't know Scampy even existed.
Oh, there you go. I'd forgotten his name, but yeah, I remember there being a cousin.
I mean, he literally does just look like the shit version of Sooty.
Yeah, it's like the ones you get on holiday when you went abroad, like to Spain and places like that, where they'd have them on market stalls, and they'd be off color and be called like City or something like that.
Yeah, definitely Coley or whatever. Oh shit, no, not that.
No,
Not that.
Let's walk that one back. Maybe we'll edit that out.
I was going with the I was going with the Soot thing. I was like, what else is Sooty? Cole is okay, yeah. We all okay, no malice intended in that. I'm not taking it out, but no malice intended in that.
Yeah, well, we weren't actually going to edit it out because let's face it, that involves editing.
Fuck me, sometimes I really should just not speak.
We've learned that over the years.
Yeah, we really have. So, okay, I've learned something. Scampy is Sooty's cousin. And it was called Sooty and Friends.
Yeah, I thought it was. I don't know why it just stuck in the back of my head. Because I remember there being the Sooty show, which was the one where...
Well, that's what I remember, the Sooty show.
And then, Sooty and Friends came later, so I'm sure it was very late 80s or early 90s. But yeah, so in the Battle
of course. And then there was Sooty and Co. Sorry, I do remember Sooty and Co. because I remember the fucking theme tune. Even though I was too fucking old, like, how do you not know that theme tune?
True.
Yeah, so, yeah, sorry, I cut you off there. I just got excited by seeing Sooty and Co. There is, looking at this, there are more as well. Like, there's a cat.
What?
There's a photo here with a cat. So I've got Sooty, Sweep, Sue, Scampy, and then like there's a cat behind them as well, but it's on the Sooty show. There was also Sooty Heights. Don't remember that.
The fuck was that?
Fuck knows. I want to know what this cat is called now, though. I'm obsessed. Anyway,
research.
Yeah, this is probably for off here. But or maybe for when we inevitably look at Sooty as a thing on SMPD, which will happen at some point, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, that'll be Sooty as Sooty rather than one of the iterations because there's too fucking much to go on otherwise.
Yeah, we'll just look at it as a general thing, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, in the battle between Sooty, Sweep, and Sue and Emu, Emu wins.
Unsurprisingly.
Yeah. If we've got that one wrong, I don't think we have, but if you disagree with us, get in touch as always on Twitter at ddpodcastnet. On the internet, you can find our website, ddpodcast.net, where you find previous episodes of this show as well as our other shows. On Facebook with the Double Down Podcast Network. Wherever you get your podcasts from, be it iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Amazon Music. Like, share, subscribe, leave us a review, and we'll get back to you. But until next time.
See you later.